Lila, let me begin by sharing a very, very hearty mazel tov to you for the wonderful job you have just done in reading from our Torah and sharing its insight with all those gathered today. What an honor for your LJS community and your mom's family, including cousins from America, and your dad's family, including family members from Italy and also America, to be here in London with you today. You should be proud of yourself for your hard work and your commitment. It is a delight to have been led in prayer by you. You have been a part of this community since you were very young, and you have brought wisdom, joy, compassion, and commitment to your Jewish journey thus far. And this ceremony today marks a very important milestone on your Jewish journey. You spoke so powerfully about the contributions of the women in the Exodus story. In the Parshiot in the following weeks, we will learn more of Moses being called by God to save the Israelites and the many hurdles and successes he will have in bringing freedom to his people. And as you mentioned, none of this would have been possible without the courage of Miriam, Yocheved, and of Pharaoh's daughter. In last week's parasha, we read of Pharaoh's barbaric decree, that of infanticide. Pharaoh charges all of his people, demanding that every Israelite boy that is born must be drowned in the Nile. Moses, by the thoughtfulness and care of his sister and mom, survives. I find this text to be one of the most tender and painful parts of our Torah. The amazing courage that Miriam must have found to risk her own safety and look after her brother floating in the river, and the greater courage and ingenuity to have then spoken to Pharaoh's daughter and encouraged her to allow for Yocheved to continue to nurse him. There's a midrash that shares that Moses refused to feed from an Egyptian nursemaid, and it is only for this reason that Pharaoh's daughter was open to a Hebrew wet nurse. There's a real sense of irony here, that the plans of Pharaoh are then thwarted by his own daughter. Not only does she save Moses, but she also pays his mother to look after him. Nahum Sarna explains in his commentary on Exodus that the arrangements made between Pharaoh's daughter and Yocheved, brokered by Miriam, follow a pattern found in Mesopotamian legal documents. What later was called a wet nurse contract stipulates that following weaning, the child is returned to the finder who adopts it. Sarna explains that the princess can personally execute such a contract accords with the relatively high social and legal positions of women in ancient Egypt. She possessed rights of inheritance and disposal of property, and she enjoyed a fair measure of economic independence. I can only imagine how painfully tragic it must have been for Yocheved to have had Moses temporarily returned to her, and for her to have cared for him, not knowing of his future or what their relationship would look like. And yet, it is through Yocheved and Miriam and Pharaoh's daughter that Moses was raised as a leader and able to free the Israelites. Somehow deep within him did he remember this limitless love bestowed upon him from his sister and mom. Was this part of his calling to advocate for his people? As I think about vulnerable baby Moses and the limited ability his family had to protect him, I am of course reminded of the hostages in Israel, especially of Kfir Bibas, the youngest hostage, who'll turn 1 this month. And I think of the mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, and friends who, like Miriam, risked their own security and even sacrificed their own lives in order to protect their loved ones. And I think of mothers and fathers in Gaza who, like Yocheved, live in fear of what the future holds, of what tomorrow holds for their children. I can't pretend to have the wisdom to know what needs to be done in Israel and Gaza, but I'm certain that increased compassion for all those involved, all those living in fear and grief, can only bring us closer to lasting peace. I've been thinking about Yocheved this week and those treasured moments she had with Moses. and wondering if even in the midst of their struggles, they shared joys as well. Perhaps she was there when Moses first giggled. Perhaps he liked to twirl her hair around his finger as he fell asleep. We don't know how long Yocheved had with Moses after he was returned to her. We can assume it was until he was weaned. In looking into the age of weaning in ancient Egypt, I found some research that indicated that supplementary foods were introduced at around 6 months of age, and that weaning was complete by 3 years of age. So perhaps Yocheved even heard Moses speak his first words or saw him take his first steps. The Torah does not let us know what happened to Yocheved. I've liked imagining possible potential outcomes of her life, and I'm not alone in that. When we encounter questions about our Torah texts, we can look at other texts throughout the ages to see what answers others have found. There is a fair amount of midrash on Yocheved. The writers of the midrash must also have been curious about what happened to her and hopeful for a happy ending. The midrash portrays Yocheved as a faithful and wise woman who lived a very full and long life, living long enough to witness her 3 children, Miriam, Moses, and Aaron, all take on leadership roles within the community. Some even share she lived long enough to enter the land of Canaan. I found comfort in these midrashim, knowing that in Yocheved's journey of life, there were moments of great joy and celebration. It is the first Shabbat of 2024. My study of this section of the Parsha this week brought me hope for our world, that in the journey of life, there will be moments of pain, but certainly moments of joy, and that the power of compassion is limitless. I hope 2024 brings for all of us and all within our human family moments of received compassion and moments of joy and communities of support in times of challenge. Rabbi Sonia Pills composed a poem about the life of Yocheved and what her journey can teach us, and I'd like to share it with you. I walk. I put one foot in front of the other, if that's what you mean by walking. My feet are leaving traces in the thick, wet mud, albeit slowly. I started off at the head of the track. Now I am almost at its end. Behind me, only the young men guarding us vulnerable flock. We are the elders. I know my children are out there, leading us with wisdom, words, and song. They are dancing, rushing, and running towards their future, awaiting them at the other shore. I won't keep up for a long time. On this journey, the miracle for me is its beginning. I know I won't be there for its end. My name is Yocheved, daughter of Levi, wife of Amram, mother of Aaron, Moses, and Miriam. I am walking in silence. Not a single word will you know of the many I have spoken. I am walking, one out of many, carrying my clothes, my water barrel, and the memories of their childhood and father. I am walking. Because there was no sense in staying, so I am walking to the next station. It might be my last, but it might also not. I hear my daughter singing. I see her racing over the sand, stretching her hands toward the big blue walls of signs and wonders. I see my sons walking next to each other. May they only continue to walk together this way. I wish for your freedom. I wish for your wonders. I wish that you will not know a lifetime enslaved. I wish that you will not suffer. I see my children. They walk towards the future. My heart goes with them. My soul does sing. I am Yocheved. My feet are walking, leaving traces in the thick, wet mud. With each step, I am holding my head higher. I am a dying princess on my way home. I might not get there, but maybe that doesn't matter. What matters is the fact that we're walking, all of us together, stretching our backs, suddenly unburdened, in the midst of the wild miracles of this different, new life. Yocheved left a legacy. not only through her children, but also through the way she lived her life, a combination of experiences pieced together. Lila, you powerfully spoke in your Dvar Torah about some of the women who came before you and the courage that they showed, and you are a part of their legacy, and that is a wonderful thing to celebrate. My hope for you, Lila, is that you continue to bring your gifts of warmth, compassion, and insight into this world, and you continue to let our community celebrate with you along your journey. May you continue to be brave like Miriam, compassionate like Yocheved, and may your journey be uniquely yours. Ken yehi l'ratzon, may it be God's will. On behalf of the congregation, I'd like to present to you this machzor. May you use it in your future years, here within this community walls, and wherever your Jewish journey leads you. We continue with our closing prayers